Well, some high-profile Texans are probably updating their resumes, if people even have resumes these days, I don't know, in hopes of landing a job in a Donald Trump administration. Patrick Svitek writes for the Texas Tribune, and he's got his own short list. He joins us on Skype. And right at the top of that list to a lot of people would be Rick Perry, who was a kind of a late adopter, but nonetheless an enthusiastic supporter of Donald Trump.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. Rick Perry, definitely, I would consider at this point a serious prospect for the Trump White House. He could be, serve a role dealing with veterans issues, which is a kind of longtime passion of his, or even issues related to agriculture. As you know, before he was the governor of Texas, he was agriculture commissioner, and it's kind of an area that he's still plugged into. He said in the past that he's open to serving in a Trump administration, and Trump himself has said he wants to get him involved. And so kind of for judging by the public statements, all the ingredients are there for this to be a realistic opportunity for Rick Perry.
Right. He's got, as the longest serving governor in Texas history, he's got a nice little state pension, but he is not a wealthy man. So yeah. you got to keep working, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about another one. Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, and arguably, in the way the state of Texas works, probably the most powerful single person in the state of Texas in the legislature.
Yeah, and he also served as the Texas chairman of Trump's campaign during the general election. During the primaries, he supported Ted Cruz and helped with his effort here in Texas. So he was definitely Trump's most enthusiastic supporter at the state level here in Texas during the general election. It was a little unclear kind of what role he could play in the Trump administration, but regardless, he told me the other day that he actually is not interested in going to Washington, that he's already told the Trump transition team that he has zero interest in serving in the administration, but he's happy to continue to provide input on other Texans who may be, good job applicants.
A Dallas area congressman, not somebody who even around here is a household name, but very smart in money matters and banking regulation and the way the budget works, is Congressman Jeb Hensarling.
Yeah, he has always been a friend of Mike Pence, who was Donald Trump's running mate, the vice presidential nominee. He knows Mike Pence dating back to their days when they both served together in Congress, was a very close friend with him, was out with him on the trail, wasn't always visible with him out on the trail, but was something of a private presence. I imagine he was kind of kept around to, advise and talk in private with Mike Pence throughout the campaign. And so you could very well see him getting involved in a Trump administration. And even if he doesn't have a formal role, I imagine he would, be a pretty strong connection between the Trump administration and the House Republican caucus.
Absolutely, and more names on that list that you've put together. We put a link to your article and to Texas Tribune on fox4news.com. Patrick, thanks very much. We appreciate it. And
thanks so much.
We, like everyone, will be standing by to see who gets the call and when. Thanks very much.